Even with the best of tenant screening, you may eventually end up with a problem tenant. When this happens, you're legally bound to uphold certain tenant rights. A top Phoenix property management company knows how to follow the rules and when dealing with difficult tenants, so it's important to ask the experts for help when you have an issue. Otherwise, you may find yourself facing significant financial and legal penalties. To legally gain access, you need to start by determining what the access is for. The tenant must be given notice 48 hours in advance before you access the unit. It is important to keep in mind that even entering the yard counts as accessing the unit, so you must notify the tenant well in advance. If you're responding to a tenant's request to repair a leaky toilet, the tenant's request counts as giving you access. You can immediately go and bring out a plumber to get that toilet repaired. If you're sending the notification by mail, you must send the notice 7 days before you plan on accessing the unit. Otherwise, the tenant will not receive the notification in time. Additionally, the notification must be in written form, like a certified letter or email. Visiting the property too frequently also violates the tenant's legal right to quiet enjoyment of the property. According to the Arizona Residential Landlord-Tenant Act, financial penalties are a remedy that a tenant can impose on the landlord if a violation of rights has occurred. For example, if a property owner does not provide proper notice, they can be charged with a penalty of a month's worth of rent per violation. In one case, a property owner rented a unit for $1,000 a month, showed the property to a prospective buyer without notice 7 times. This landlord had to pay $7,000 for violating the tenant's right to quiet enjoyment. Here are some other examples of what financial penalties a landlord may face by violating their tenant's rights. As we mentioned, for improper access, 1 times the monthly rent per occurrence. If you turn off utilities, you can be charged double the amount of the monthly rent. Security deposits returned after the due date. Landlords may be required to pay double the amount of the original security deposit as well as the original security deposit itself. You normally have just 14 business days to return the security deposit to the tenant. Failure to maintain the unit. If a landlord does not maintain the unit, and the tenant must serve a 5-day or a 10-day notice to the owner. Then the tenant can get half the month's rent if they repair the problem on their own. They can also choose to move out. If they move out, they can get their entire security deposit back. There are also remedies available to the landlord if the tenant violates the terms of the lease. Property owners can collect penalties as well. For unpaid rent, if the tenant defaults on their rent, the landlord must send them a 5-day notice. After that, they can begin the eviction process. Tenant holdovers. When a tenant does not move out when they're supposed to, landlords can evict them and get judgment for 2 times the monthly amount of rent. Failure to maintain. If a property owner inspects a property and discovers something isn't right, they can serve a 10-day or a 5-day notice to evict the tenant. Tenants only have to give you notice 5 days in advance for health and safety issues. The other problems, landlords must serve a 10-day notice as well as a second notice. Failure to allow access. When tenants do not allow access, property owners can send 10-day notices to fix the violation. If they still do not allow access, they can be evicted. However, it's extremely important to include certain restrictions in the lease. According to the lease, a landlord should be able to access the unit as long as they provide that 48 hours notice. If this requirement is not in your lease, landlords cannot evict the tenant for failing to allow access. By including the access requirements, you can evict someone for not allowing or not following the terms of the lease. Knowing facts, deadlines, responsibilities, and consequences as they pertain to landlord and tenant obligations is what we specialize in. Don't miss part 2 of this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out with any questions, concerns about what you or your tenant may be facing. We're here to help. Stay tuned for part 2.